You know, sometimes you're just having a super normal day, sipping your morning tea, when something utterly wild happens. Something that turns everything on its head, right? My wedding dress, the very one I dreamt of, suddenly felt wrong, like a cheap copy, and it made me worry sick, thinking my big day was ruined by someone I trusted. But then a crazy idea, a secret switch, turned my humiliation into the biggest, most shocking reveal anyone could imagine, especially for my sister. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I'd love to know. Alara, honey, you look absolutely radiant. Monsieur Dubois, the famed dress designer, adjusted a tiny pleat on the exquisite ivory silk. I swear, a wave of pure joy just washed over me. It was the dress, you know? The harmony gown. It flowed like water, shimmered with subtle beads, and felt like it was made just for me. Leo, my fiancé, he'd seen sketches, but he hadn't seen this. This was it. The dress that cost a small fortune, a whopping $25,000, which my parents, bless their hearts, insisted on as their big gift. They wanted my day to be perfect, and so did I. My mom, Joyce, even teared up a little, watching me spin in front of the ornate mirrors in Monsieur Dubois's studio. It's even more beautiful than I remember, monsieur, I said, a soft laugh bubbling up. Thank you, truly. He was this older, kind man, with these thick glasses perched on his nose and a gentle smile. He made dreams real, he really did. This first fitting, just a few months before the wedding, was everything I hoped for. Brenda, our wedding planner, a woman who didn't miss a single detail, was there too, making notes. Absolutely stunning, Alara, she chimed in, her voice always so calm and organized. The fit is impeccable. My sister, Sonia, well, she was a different story. Sonia and I, we've always been complicated. She's 3 years older than me, and sometimes it felt like she just couldn't stand it when I was happy, or when good things happened to me. We'd had our moments, of course, like all sisters, but there was this underlying competitiveness with her, you know? Like she always had to be a step ahead, or get more attention. When I first told her about the dress, the harmony gown, the $25,000 price tag, she just sort of stiffened. $25,000, she'd said, her eyes wide, but not with excitement, more like disbelief, or maybe even a little anger. Alara, that's insane. You could put a down payment on a small house with that. I remember feeling a little deflated. Mom and Dad want me to have my dream dress, Sonia, I'd explained, trying to keep my voice light. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. She just made a face, a little huff, and changed the subject. That was Sonia. She'd never just be genuinely happy for me without a little bit of her own bitterness creeping in. As the wedding day got closer, Sonia suddenly became super interested in the dress. Like, really interested. She'd call me, so, when's the next fitting, Alara? Do you need a ride? I could help you carry it. It felt a bit much. I mean, she hadn't been this involved in anything before. I told her I had it handled, but she kept pushing. A couple of weeks before the wedding, when the dress was ready for its final collection and storage until the big day, she really piled on the helpful act. Look, Alara, she'd said, putting her arm around me, a rare display of affection that felt a bit forced. I know you're super busy with all the last-minute stuff. Let me just pick up the dress for you. I'm driving right past Monsieur Dubois's studio anyway. I'll keep it safe at my place, in my spare room, until the wedding morning. It'll be one less thing for you to worry about, right? I hesitated. My gut gave a little twist. Sonia's apartment wasn't exactly known for being pristine, and the thought of my precious gown there. But she was my sister, and she was sounding so sincere, so insistent. Plus, she lived closer to the venue, which actually would make things a bit easier for Brenda to pick it up on the morning of. My mind, which was already buzzing with seating charts and flower arrangements, just sort of gave in. Okay, Sonia, I finally said, trying to shake off the weird feeling. But be super careful with it, okay? It's my dream dress. She smiled, a little too brightly, I remember thinking now. Of course, little sister. What kind of monster do you think I am? She squeezed my arm again. Looking back, that smile, it didn't quite reach her eyes. A few days later, just a week before the wedding, I went over to Sonia's place. Not to get the dress, just to catch up and grab some old photo albums she had. She was out, so she left a key for me. I walked into her spare room, where she said the dress was. It was hanging there, under a long garment bag. My heart gave a little flutter of excitement just seeing it. I reached out, just to touch the garment bag, to feel it. But as my fingers brushed against the fabric inside, something felt off. Something just didn't feel right at all. It was hard to explain, but the silk felt heavier, somehow, and not in the rich, luxurious way I remembered. It felt rougher. My stomach dropped. I tried to push the thought away. No, Elara, don't be silly, I told myself. It's just the garment bag, or maybe you're just nervous. But the feeling wouldn't go away. It gnawed at me. The next morning, I called Brenda, our amazing wedding planner. Hey Brenda, I started, trying to sound casual, but my voice was shaky. Do you think you could, maybe swing by Sonia's place today? Just to quickly check on the dress? I just have this weird feeling, you know? Just a quick look, make sure it's okay. Brenda, ever the professional, sensed my unease. Of course, Elara. I was planning on doing a final check of all the bridal party attire this week anyway. I'll make Sonia's stop my first one. A small sense of relief washed over me. Brenda would know. She had a good eye. Later that afternoon, my phone rang. It was Brenda. Her voice was usually so calm, but this time, there was a definite edge to it. Elara, she said, and I could hear her taking a deep breath. I'm at Sonia's. I need you to come here. Now. My heart started thudding against my ribs. What's wrong, Brenda? Is it the dress? I asked, a lump forming in my throat. Just come, she replied, her voice firm. And don't say anything to Sonia yet, if she asks. Just come. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my keys. Wait, what? This couldn't be good. Not good at all. I practically flew to Sonia's apartment, my mind reeling, trying to guess what Brenda could have possibly found. When I burst through the door, Brenda was standing in the spare room, the garment bag lying open on the bed. My breath caught in my throat. The dress. It was there. But it wasn't my dress. Elara, Brenda started, her eyes filled with a mixture of shock and sadness. This is not the harmony gown. My legs felt weak. I stumbled forward, my fingers brushing the fabric. It was coarse, heavy, and the delicate beadwork was clunky, uneven. The silk, which should have been like liquid, felt stiff and synthetic. It was a cheap imitation, a poorly made replica. The stitches were loose in places, the hem looked uneven. My dream dress, the one I had seen and adored, was gone. No, I whispered, the word barely audible. No, this can't be right. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring my vision. This was a nightmare. But how? Brenda sighed, a deep, heavy sound. I noticed it immediately, Elara. The moment I felt the weight of the bag, then the fabric. And look at the label. She pointed to a small tag sewn into the neckline. It said harmony gown, but the font was slightly off, the stitching around it clumsy. This isn't Monsieur Dubois's work. Not even close. His labels are hand-stitched with a specific silk thread. This is machine sewn. And the material, it's a cheap polyester blend, not the Italian silk he uses. My mind raced back to Sonia's insistent help, her too bright smile, her strange questions about the dress. The way she'd pushed to pick it up and keep it. It all clicked into place, a horrifying realization. My own sister. Sonia, I breathed out, the name tasting bitter on my tongue. She switched it, didn't she? She actually switched my wedding dress. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow, worse than the loss of the dress itself. My own sister, deliberately sabotaging my wedding day, trying to humiliate me. The raw emotion, the hurt, it was almost unbearable. I can't say for sure, Elara, Brenda said gently, but it certainly looks that way. Who else would have access, and a reason to do something so cruel? We both knew. The air in the room felt thick with unspoken anger and sadness. I sat down heavily on the bed, holding the fake dress, feeling its cheapness, its emptiness. My wedding was in 7 days. 7 days. And my dress, my beautiful, expensive, dream dress, was gone. What do I do, Brenda? I asked, my voice cracking. What am I going to tell Leo? My parents? Brenda thought for a moment, her brow furrowed. First, we go straight to Monsieur Dubois. He needs to see this. He'll be able to confirm what we suspect. So, with the fake dress carefully placed back in its garment bag, we drove to Monsieur Dubois's studio. He was shocked, absolutely horrified when he saw the replica. His face went pale as he examined it, his expert fingers tracing the cheap seams, the shoddy beadwork. Mon Dieu, he murmured, shaking his head. This is an insult. A terrible, terrible imitation. The harmony gown, it is a masterpiece, not this fraud. He confirmed it without a doubt. This was not his creation. Someone has deliberately swapped your gown, Alara, he said, his voice quiet but firm. This is beyond a simple mistake. I explained about Sonia, about her insistence, the weird feeling I had. Monsieur Dubois listened carefully, his eyes growing shrewd. I see, he said slowly, then a thoughtful look crossed his face. This is very serious. This is not just about a dress, is it? This is about betrayal. Humiliation. He looked at me, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. Then, a small, almost mischievous smile touched his lips. Alara, he began, I have an idea. A solution, perhaps. I happen to have the original harmony gown in my private collection. A showpiece, if you will, the very first one. It is identical in every way, a perfect fit for you. It is usually not for sale, but for this situation, I can make an exception. Consider it my wedding gift to you, under these unfortunate circumstances. But, he paused, we must use this incident to our advantage. My eyes widened. What do you mean? He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. We let the saboteur think her plan worked. We let her believe you will walk down the aisle in this atrocity. He gestured to the fake dress. And then, at the very last moment, Alara, we reveal the truth. We switch the labels. Not in the way she did, but in a way that truly matters. You will wear the harmony gown. And she will see it. A spark of something cold and determined ignited inside me. This wasn't just about my wedding anymore. This was about standing up for myself. This was about revenge. You mean, you want me to pretend I don't know? I asked, still trying to grasp the boldness of his plan. Exactly, Monsieur Dubois said, a grin spreading across his face. Let her enjoy her imagined victory. Let her watch you, believing her cruel joke has landed. And then when it matters most, you will shine. We will make the switch. Brenda, he turned to her, you will be instrumental in this. Brenda, who had been listening intently, simply straightened her shoulders and gave a decisive nod. Consider it handled, monsieur. Alara, we will make sure this is a day you remember, and for all the right reasons. Leaving Monsieur Dubois's studio, I felt a strange mix of emotions. The hurt was still there, a deep ache in my chest from Sonia's betrayal. But now, it was mixed with a surprising surge of defiance, a quiet strength. The plan felt risky, almost theatrical, but also right. It was a chance to reclaim my day, to turn a painful humiliation into a moment of powerful, quiet victory. I wouldn't just be wearing a dress, I'd be wearing my dignity. I'd be wearing my truth. The next few days would be a performance. I had to act like everything was normal, like I was oblivious. It was going to be tough, especially around Sonia. But I knew deep down that this was the only way. The wedding day was approaching fast, and the tension was building, not just for the normal wedding jitters, but for this secret high-stakes game I was about to play. The wedding morning dawned bright and clear, but my stomach was a jumble of nerves. Not the usual I'm getting married nerves, but I'm about to pull off the biggest stunt of my life nerves. Sonia, being the ever-so-helpful maid of honor, was flitting around the bridal suite, her eyes subtly, constantly on me. And on the dress. The fake dress, that is, which Brenda had dutifully collected from Sonia's apartment the night before, still in its garment bag. Oh, Alara, darling, you're going to look simply divine, Sonia cooed, as she watched me get my hair done. Her voice was syrupy sweet, but I could hear the faint, underlying smirk. She thought she'd won. She thought I was oblivious, getting ready to walk down the aisle in a cheap knockoff. It was taking every ounce of my willpower not to react, not to scream at her. I just smiled a tight, polite smile and said, "Thank you, Sonia. I hope so." Brenda was a rock star. She was so calm, so efficient, moving through the suite, orchestrating everything, and all the while, she knew our secret. My mom Joyce, was busy with the bridesmaids, happily oblivious to the silent drama unfolding. Leo, my wonderful Leo, was at the venue, probably just as nervous, but for all the right reasons. He knew nothing of this, and I intended to keep it that way until after the ceremony. This was my battle. As the time for me to put on the dress for pictures came, Brenda carefully took the garment bag. She helped me into the fake gown. It felt heavy, wrong, and scratchy against my skin. I could feel Sonia's eyes on me as I stood in front of the mirror. "Oh, Alara, it's really something, isn't it?" Sonia said, her voice laced with what she thought was subtle sarcasm. "Very unique." I caught Brenda's eye in the mirror, and she gave me a tiny, almost imperceptible wink. "It's perfect for you, Alara," Brenda said, her voice firm, cutting Sonia off. "Absolutely perfect." I just forced another smile. The fake dress actually looked decent in photos, from a distance, but up close, anyone with an eye for quality would know. But I wasn't walking down the aisle in this. Not really. The ceremony itself was a blur of emotion. Walking towards Leo, seeing his loving, joyful face, was everything. It almost made me forget the dress, the plan, Sonia's betrayal. I wanted to just be Alara, marrying Leo. The fake dress felt like a burden, a heavy secret. But I pushed through, exchanged vows, and officially became Mrs. Rodriguez. The real test, the true climax, was waiting for the reception. That's when the switch would happen. After the ceremony, during the cocktail hour, Brenda ushered me back to a private changing room. "Okay, Alara," she said, her voice low and serious. "Time for the magic." There, hanging on a special rack, was the harmony gown, the real one. Monsieur Dubois had personally delivered it to Brenda that morning. It shimmered under the light, the silk flowing, the beads catching the sparkle. It was breathtaking. Brenda helped me out of the fake dress, and then carefully, reverently, into the genuine article. The moment the silk touched my skin, I felt it. The difference. The softness, the lightness, the exquisite craftsmanship. It was like shedding a heavy, ugly skin and stepping into pure light. I looked in the mirror, and for the first time that day, I saw my bridal self. The one I had dreamed of. "Now the final touch," Brenda said, and with a small discreet pair of scissors, she cut the label from the fake dress. Then with a tiny hidden stitch, she secured it inside the real harmony gown. "Monsieur Dubois's idea," she whispered. "A little theatrical touch, to confirm for anyone who might doubt. The label you're wearing, it's the one from that dress. But the dress itself? Pure Dubois." I grinned, a real genuine grin that finally reached my eyes. It felt incredibly satisfying. "Are you ready, Alara?" Brenda asked, handing me my bouquet. "Are you ready to make your entrance?" I took a deep breath, and then another. "More than ready, Brenda," I replied, my voice steady and strong. "More than ready." The reception hall buzzed with laughter and music. Leo was waiting for me at the entrance, his eyes wide with surprise and awe as I appeared. He knew nothing about the dress swap, so his reaction was purely from seeing me in that dress. "Alara," he whispered, a huge smile spreading across his face, "you look absolutely incredible. Just wow." He gently squeezed my hand. Then, the announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, for the very first time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Leo Rodriguez." The doors swung open, and Leo and I stepped into the hall. A hush fell over the crowd for a split second, and then, a collective gasp. And then, applause. Thunderous, heartfelt applause. Everyone was looking, truly looking, at the dress. At my dress. I scanned the room, and then I saw her. Sonia. She was standing by the bridal table, a glass of champagne in her hand. Her face, which had been set in a triumphant smirk just moments before, slowly transformed. First, surprise. Then, utter confusion. Then, her eyes widened in pure, unadulterated horror. Her jaw actually dropped. She knew. She saw the real harmony gown, shimmering under the lights, and she knew her plan had failed spectacularly. Her face turned pale, then a blotchy red. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. A $25,000 ghost. I walked past her with Leo, my head held high. As I passed, I met her gaze. I didn't say a word, didn't even offer a smirk. I just held her stare, a quiet strength in my eyes. The message was clear, Asterisk, I know what you did. And you failed. Asterisk, she looked away first, shrinking back against the wall, utterly defeated. The applause swelled around us. Later, during the toasts, Sonia tried to make a clumsy excuse, something about mistaken identity with the dress, trying to save face with a few family members. But Brenda, with her surgical precision, had let slip to my mom and dad, and a few close aunts, exactly what had happened. My parents, who had seen the real dress before, immediately understood. Their faces were a mix of anger and protective love for me. My dad, Robert, gave Sonia a stern, silent look across the room that made her visibly flinch. She just mumbled, picked at her food, and eventually slipped out of the reception early, without a single word of congratulations to me. The rest of the night was pure magic. I danced with Leo, laughed with my friends, and felt a sense of peace and vindication that was deeper than just the joy of being married. The dress, the harmony gown, became more than just beautiful fabric. It became a symbol of resilience, of not letting someone else's cruelty define my happiness. Sonia's actions had, in a strange way, made my wedding even more memorable, a testament to overcoming unexpected hurdles. It hurt, yes, to know my sister was capable of such a thing. Our relationship was, understandably, fractured beyond repair. We haven't spoken since, and honestly, I don't know if we ever will truly recover. But I learned a profound lesson, that some battles are worth fighting, not with anger, but with quiet dignity and an unexpected twist. My wedding day wasn't just beautiful, it was a powerful, unforgettable statement. So, tell me, has anything unexpected ever happened on your big day? I'd love to hear your stories.